welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. In this one I want to talk about the book 1812 by Adam Zamoyski, Napoleon's Fatal March on Moscow. A brilliant book. I think the best book I have read about the Napoleonic era, and I'd like to review it here with you today, very briefly. At university I had a couple of modules about Napoleon, about the Napoleonic Wars, about the French Revolutionary Wars, so I know a bit about the subject. I've read quite a few books about Napoleon, about this era, when I studied in Liverpool for a few years, and it really was a fascinating time. I mean, so much change took place. So much change took place. These were definitely interesting times, obviously scary times as well, because a lot of people lost their lives, yes, and obviously we don't want a repeat of this. And this is why history is so important. History is a very important discipline. In general, the humanities, the social sciences, they are disrespected, yes, by academia, by the culture. STEM subjects are prioritized, such as science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I guess rightly so, because these subjects they also make a massive contribution to the development of humanity. New discoveries, new scientific discoveries, new technological discoveries. Obviously, they make a massive impact on the well-being of the average citizen. We can make this argument, yes, but I think the humanities are important. The social sciences are important because now we can see, in general in the world, there's a lot of tension. Yes, there is a lot of tension between different countries, between different races, between different ethnicities, and somehow we need to solve this problem. We need to see the human in the other. We need to recognize the human in the other. We need to recognize our shared humanity, because if we don't do this, if we don't start engaging in this process of what I call humanist thoughts, then who knows what will happen. We have seen in the past, in history, the amount of bloodshed that occurred, the amount of blood that was spilled unnecessarily, really, because a lot of conflict can be avoided. If we are looking, for example, now at the conflict against Russia, yes, the Russian-Ukrainian war, this aggressive attitude of the West towards Russia, it really could be avoided by just respecting Russia's sphere of sovereignty, and by not backsliding. Yes, not because the West is known for this. The West establishes all these treaties, all these agreements, but then the West is always the first one to break these treaties and these agreements. And unfortunately, this is true in the international arena. You cannot trust Western powers because first of all they break their treaties, they break the rule of law, etc. And secondly, they hide behind the cover of apparently enforcing the rule of law, enforcing democracy, human rights, freedom, etc. Democracy, yes, I mentioned democracy just now. To further their imperialistic ambitions. It's all a cover. It's all a pretext, really. They cover their violence and their aggressive nature in this legalese language, as I like to call it. This is the operating principle of the West. Yes, they act like hypocrites. Western civilization is hypocritical when it comes to its actions in the international arena. And Why am I talking about this? Well, I'm talking about this because it's relevant. We can see the parallels between what's happening now when it comes to Russia and the West, and what happened in the past. Yes, with Napoleon, with France and Russia. This megalomania, this desire to conquer Russia, to have it under your boot. It's a deluded daydream. No one has ever defeated Russia in the past. No country was able to defeat Russia. Hitler was unable to do so. Napoleon was unable to do so. Poland was unable to do so. Well, funnily enough, Poland actually occupied Moscow for a few years in the 1600s, I believe. But then the Russians booted the Poles out. So maybe technically Poland has been the only country that ever occupied Russia. I mean, we could argue this, but yes, in general, it's foolish to enter a war with Russia, and especially now because Russia has so much advanced weaponry, all these nuclear weapons, all these advanced missiles, Oreshnik, Poseidon, etc. That is stupid, yes, and I mean, hopefully the war will come to an end soon. I think Ukraine is on its last legs. All the propaganda may state otherwise, but Ukraine has lost this war. It was always on the losing side. It was never going to win this war against Russia. Russia has barely committed anything to this war. Russia has used its old military equipment. Russia has used mercenaries. Russia has not enforced mandatory conscription, mass conscription. The number of casualties on the Russian side is much lower as opposed to the Ukrainian side. Ukraine's population has dropped from 45 million to 25 million. Ukraine's economy has tanked. It's completely dependent on Western subsidies. So yeah. And these Ukrainians, they're so deluded. These Ukrainians on Twitter, I'm interacting with them on Twitter with a lot of these Ukrainians. They're so deluded. They've been brainwashed. They've been brainwashed by Western propaganda. They can't think for themselves. The brain is not functioning here. There's something wrong here with the brain of the Ukrainian Banderites, of the Ukras. I can't wait until this Ukraine collapses. I can't wait until Zelensky gets expelled from power. I can't wait until all these oligarchs get exposed in Ukraine and get put to jail. I can't wait. And I can't wait until Poland enforces its rule, its power over Ukraine. Because this needs to happen, in my opinion. Lvov is a Polish city. It's not a Ukrainian city. All these territories around Lvov, they are Polish territories. They are not Ukrainian. And all these Ukrainians, they need to submit to the will of the Poles. So hopefully this happens. But anyway, going back now to Adam Zamoyski, yes, and his book 1812. I want to review this book and embed this review of mine within the current political climate, yes, that we find ourselves in. So, yes, it was a brilliant book. Zamoyski, he uses and refers to a lot of sources when painting the picture of this time. And in my article here, I included a painting of Napoleon as he was retreating from Moscow. So Napoleon, he did actually capture Moscow, but then the Russians set fire to it. Yes, and because there wasn't any food around, because the French weren't able to survive there in Russia because of lack of resources, they decided to retreat. Yes, and as they were starting to retreat, winter arrived. So the ironic thing to note about this whole invasion is that Napoleon lost more men and a lot of horses as well. Not in actual warfare. Yes, more men lost their lives during the retreat from Moscow than during any of the wars. Yes, against Russia. So this was quite ironic to note. It's quite ironic to note. It's quite an important fact, I think, to talk about. And it's important to talk about this book because it shows the folly, yes, of pursuing power and glory. It leads to negative outcomes. Pride goeth before the fall. It's just a deluded. It's deluded way of engaging in politics. Yes. And I wrote this article ages ago. It was, I think, my first article. It's the first article that I ever wrote on Medium. So 2023. So yeah, nearly 3 years ago. Yes, nearly 3 years ago. And what I remember the most after reading this book is the sheer number of horses that lost their lives over the course of the retreat due to the sheer brutality of the cold Russian climate, minus 30 degrees. It's crazy. And Zamoyski, he describes this. It really made an impression on me. So many horses just rotting on the ground. It's crazy. And I also like the moment when Zamoyski describes the French scrambling their way across the Berezina. So the Berezina is a river in Russia, and again, as they were trying to run away from the Russians, and when they were trying to cross this river, they lost a lot of men. Yes, so I remember this as well quite vividly. So yes, and here I know I'm repeating myself, but the majority of casualties on both sides of the war were actually due to a lack of food, disease, poor logistics, and exhaustion. Sorry, rather than combat itself. So it wasn't a well-planned invasion by Napoleon. He was too deluded, and because he was so deluded, he didn't think in advance. Again, Napoleon's pride cost him. He had many opportunities to come to an agreement, to a peace agreement, but he kept pushing his boundaries. Yes, yes, we know what happened. So it was an amazing book. I recommend everyone to read this book. I recommend reading this book definitely, and it's great because it's got some pictures that you can look at. A lot of pictures that show what it was like to live back then. Anyway, I don't want to talk more about this. Don't want to waste your time. I know I went on a bit of a tangent at the beginning, talking about Russia, Ukraine, and the situation, but it's pretty much what we are seeing now is pretty much the same process. It's the same historical process is taking place now as what happened here in 1812. As what happened back then in 1812, yes, and I guess what happened in World War Two, yes, because Hitler also had these ambitions to conquer the Russians, the Ruskies, to enslave all the Slavs, because he had this ideology, yes, of German superiority. And again, it cost him. It cost the Germans, yes. So what's the famous saying? History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. I think that's the famous saying, yes. Well, there are definitely many parallels taking place now. So, anyway, thank you once again for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting. If you liked the video, give a like, comment if you agree with what I said, or if you have maybe a different perspective about what is happening in Ukraine and in Russia. If you're a new viewer, consider liking and subscribing. It'll help me grow the channel and spread more vital information. I think will help a lot of people out there. And yes, that's all for this one. Once again, thank you for listening and take care.